Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining again. This is only the third video I'm doing, but we've done the flip, the car, and now the couch. So we are experimenting some different places. New setting though, new video, new vibe. So what I want to talk about in this video is, many of you know, pretty much one of the main reasons I'm able to sit here and loop you guys into certain things is that I have access to some really cool people. For my job, I'm working with like over 3,000 investors every single day that all have like insane portfolios. Some of them have millions and millions of dollars in real estate, and I'm lucky enough that I'm learning from them pretty much every single day. One comes to mind that I've gotten pretty close with, like a mentor figure for me, and I just want to go through some of the life things that he's taught me. Not so specific to real estate, but it could be applicable to anything that you do, business-wise, life-wise, whatever it is. We're going to run through each 10. I'll give a brief explanation as to how he has explained it to me. I think that'll be cool for you guys to hear, because these are the 10 that have really resonated with me. I want to make sure you guys get a hold of them as well. Many of them are also like phrases and mottos kind of, which I like because they stick with me so much better. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first one, you've probably heard this along different lines. Focus goes where energy flows. And I actually think that this quote has been said each way. Energy flows where focus goes, and vice versa. He says, focus goes where energy flows. Let me break it down for you. This basically means that where your subconscious energy is, which is like 95+% of all of the activity that's going on up here, is where your focus goes. So if you're feeling is usually like a child of energy. Like, your feelings are showing you what energy is actually going on inwardly. And if you're feeling sluggish, if you're feeling bad, and you're feeling like you're just excited for the quick thing, you're probably surrounding yourself with people that feel similarly, and hence your focus is going to continue to go in that cycle. Where if you surround yourself with the level up kind of people, you're surrounded by millionaires, or if you're a millionaire, you're surrounded by billionaires, I would guess and imagine that your focus is going to go towards productive activities that you've seen them reap benefit from. So focus goes where energy flows. Your energy is not just out there. You control your energy. Like, what you give it to, what gets back to you, and how you receive it is all well within your court. You just need to hone in and be very aware of the energy that you're feeling so you can change it. Second lesson, which I kind of touched on in my last video, ask and you shall receive. It will separate you from your peers. So easy to do nowadays. People are so afraid of everything that asking a question is like sometimes the bane of some people's existence. To figure out that skill, it's going to set you apart miles. There's genuinely like no such thing as a stupid question unless it's a repetitive stupid question. You're entitled to ask whoever and whatever you want. I don't really believe in like tiptoeing around what normal things to ask. Ask someone about money. Ask someone about politics. Who gives a shit? They can say no. And if they don't feel like they can say no, they don't have something figured out if they can't say no to a person asking them a question. Like, if someone were to ask me a question, I don't necessarily feel like I'm gonna have to spill and tell them whatever they've just asked me. So in my head, nothing's off limits. Ask and you shall receive. On the flip side of this coin, all of what I just said about people not wanting an answer, sure. Most of the time people want to help. Like, I believe that people are inherently good and want to help you. We've all had our own circumstances and situations that lead us to come up with an opinion of people in general. I've had my fair share of bad experience as well. At the end of the day, I'll always believe people are good, because 9 out of 10 times, if you ask for something, they're going to want to help you, or at least steer you in the right direction. Rarely ever is someone going to be like silent or not answer. And the things you're asking for are probably things that will put steps for you into the right direction for your future. Like, that's how I always think about it. I do also truly though think about it in like the smaller ways. If you need something at a gas station, if you need something at an airport. So all in all, with this one, just have the courage to ask. And then really though, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. Cool. Ask your next question. Okay, so the third lesson is a cool one. Don't panic. This person always says don't panic. Like, if a deal comes up and I'm like kind of on the phone sounding a little frantic or asking him about things, it's don't panic. I think this is true to like the most extreme levels of life. The things and natural disasters that people get themselves out of, they know how to not panic, and they know how to keep a group calm and keep themselves calm. Just like when that airplane crashes, you are supposed to put on your mask, because if a few minutes go by without oxygen, you're cooked. But if you're calm and you put off your mask, then you can actually have an impact on the airplane. I know we all joke about that. I'm like, you're joking? I'd put on my mom's mask, anyone's mask before mine, which I still would. But I need to get my mask on. And that's the metaphor here. I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here real quick. Nowadays, we're so wired to live at a constant state of mild stress. So we're all stressed out all the time. Whereas in the olden days, the caveman, BC, back in the day, there was no stress until there was acute stress. And then the stress came down and there was no stress, and then there was acute. And this cycle helped them develop correct reactions when things come up, and then also feel those correct feelings of peacefulness and bliss when you're in that day-to-day state. And so nowadays, I just think that the smallest inconvenience for people will like set them off the rocker. A ticket on a car, change in the plans. I'm not guilty to any of this. For sure, there are times where I'm stressed out and then one more thing piles on and I'm like, I have to do the dishes tonight. It was like the hardest thing in the world, but there's like 4 dishes. And it's just being cognizant of that and not being a panicky person. Usually the most dangerous people in the room are the calmest, quietest, most decisive, and they can't be that way if they're panicky. Also, we all know how it feels to be around that panic-filled person. It just stresses you out. Like, it's not a good feeling to be around someone like that. In anything in life, don't panic. 4th lesson. Another one that he'll often talk about when I'm asking, how are your projects going? How's the development? Something that he'll say is, Carolyn, always move quick. Always be urgent. If you're literally physically helping, like physically move the fastest. People really see that you're taking into account if someone's hiring a demo guy and they have one guy that's making 10 trips out per hour and then one guy that's doing 4. And they're both getting an hourly pay. Obviously, the guy that's doing 10 trips is going to get asked to come back again, but then you also, as the person hiring them, recognize and respect that hardworking attribute to them. And I think it's true across all things real estate and business. Really though, business. If you're expressing interest in someone above you and like what they're doing, I've noticed the fastest way to get them to open the door and let you into their wealth of knowledge is if you say, hi, I'm interested, and they're like, okay, cool, like, let me know. Hit them up that day. Like, ask them for a text and a call that day. If they don't answer you, ask again tomorrow. If they want someone who's on the ball, quick. For me right now, an area I need to get better on is my replying and texting back. I have like so many in my head different levels of text back that I get to due to like the nature of the deals we put out. We get a lot of texts in. And in my head, I have the priority text and on. Everyone needs an urgent text back, and I need to get better at making people feel like I am being urgent towards them. So I think there's something to be said in always being the most urgent and quickest person in the room. And he has always said that about any of his workers, any of his partners. Up next, listen and learn. A lot of these probably sound pretty juvenile. When you get to such high levels, what got you there and what reminds you to stay there and go up from there is the fundamentals and the basics. Like this guy who has a net worth of close to 20 million always says that, is he's always listening and learning. Like I truly think that this person would be listening and learning from an 18-year-old kid that has questions for them. Like you're never above listening and learning from someone else. I constantly try and remind myself of this. It's not only a skill, but it's like a personal human connection. You want to be listened to, you want to be heard. It's so easy, we can all tell when people are half listening to you. We've all done it too. You're just thinking about something else, you're thinking about another conversation happening around you. I know with real estate, like we go to networking events, it happens. Like maybe you came to that event literally for one person and someone's chewing your ear off about something you really aren't engaged in. At the end of the day, you don't know what that relationship is going to lead to. And then I also think it's listening and learning by consuming things that are going to make you better. Like if you're entering motherhood, like listening and learning about things that, you know, precede having the baby, what you can do with the baby, how you can enrich them, all of that stuff. Baking, if that's your passion. Listening and learning to books, podcasts, all of that. Just a lifelong skill that separates the good from the average, because average people are complacent. Lesson number 6. This one I absolutely love because I need help with it. I've been really working on it since he's been like repeating it. And that is, never make a decision when you're emotional. This is so important. Like, this is underratedly important. Emotions are like literally one of the most powerful things that we exude. Happiness, anger, frustration. It's impacting our logic. It's impacting our future. It's impacting those around us. And this is not to say they're a bad thing. Emotions can be harnessed into the most powerful thing for you. But don't make decisions when you're in the thick of it. I have wanted to make so many decisions mad or out of a feeling of lack, I think. I'll explain one. When I was trying to buy another flip, I had gotten into such like, I'll get this way, where like I am around people doing such great things, and then I'll have a little stoop low, because I'm like, I don't know how I'm not moving. Like, I don't know how I'm not doing this. Why aren't I? I have such a great environment to set me up to do this. How am I not doing this? I'm not proud of it because it's a very lack mindset towards myself. But when I get like that, I will make decisions on buying a property out around it, because there's other emotional and not logical factors at play. And it's that I want a deal so bad, I'll figure it out, and I just want the deal. Like, that's not good. You need to buy a deal or buy anything in your life because it's a good investment, because the numbers are going to work for you, because it's going to be worth the 4, 5, 6 months that you end up putting into it. Or I can also find myself making very competitive decisions, which is not good either, because that in itself brings out strong emotions. And if you're making a decision based on competition with yourself, with peers, with whoever it is, that's putting both yourself, the client, whoever it is, at jeopardy. His steering and his coaching have really like reeled this in, since I think a few years ago when I started stepping into the real estate world, but I'm 100% still learning and dealing with it every single day, because it's the human experience. Like, it is the human experience to feel things strongly, but in business, you need to take a step back, be logical again, and let yourself move forward. Even with friends and such, I will get upset or frustrated towards someone, and all I want to do is call that person, like that instant, and be like, hey, what's up? What's wrong? Like, talk to me. I'm frustrated. Why are you frustrated? But not everyone's like that. And I've learned that. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of other stories. But people need time, and people need time to decompress. And I did too. Like, I wouldn't have come at things so like straight to the point, hot and whatever, had I not been in an emotional space. So now if something's brewing, I will give it 2 to 3 days before I even think about picking up the phone or texting someone. And this applies to real estate too. And this person that tells me it, he doesn't escape emotions. He feels everything too. He just knows when to take time for his emotions to come and go. He's come up with little strategies that I can get into to give himself time to experience them, and then flip a switch and dial back in, because his decisions are going to be hurt by his emotions, not helped. Your drive, your motivation, long term is going to be helped by your emotions, but your decisions on a day-to-day basis will not be. Number 7 is we become what we think about. The truest thing in the entire world. I have been trying to become so much better at this, because once you're aware, it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the thing with this. Once you're aware of it, you can't forget about it. What you think about is who you are. If you're constantly thinking about your vision, your future, the success that you're going to have, that is how you'll behave and train your mind and self to behave. If you are thinking about, what if I can't achieve this? What if I end up this way? What if I walk into a room and these people don't like me? You're programming yourself to become more anxious, to become more sad, to become more just living in a gray world. Where we spend our time in our heads, we're living there 100% of the time. The accumulation of all of those thoughts and feelings come out and present themselves as who we are. This person that has always said this to me, he actually used to watch this video all the time. It's called, what is it called? The Strangest Secret. by Earl Nightingale. Listen to it all the time. And what is the strangest secret? It's we become what we think about. This video is literally from like the 1930s or something. They do a big experiment on why, if you take 100 men, why will the bottom like 30 be poor, the middle 50 be average, next 15 be well off, and the last 5 be truly successful. In the video, they actually stop a bunch of men, and I keep saying men because it was like the 1930s. They stop a bunch of men on the street and they're like, why do you work? And they ask everyone the same question, why do you work? Most of them couldn't even answer it. And then those that could said, to put food on my family's table. And the people that made up the 5 had value and purpose in their work and said, I'm working towards building a future and helping people in need of X. It could have been, I am working for X so that I can become the most successful person in my family, that my family never has to worry about food again. It's just interesting when you like think about it and look at it that way. But where we spend our time in our head is genuinely who we become. Up next, I love this one so much, and when he says it too, because it's such an easy acronym to remember, and you probably will too now. Fear. FEAR. False expectations appearing as reality. That, like, the first moment he said that to me, because I was talking to him and I was like, I said, I'm scared on this deal. What if I go over my rehab budget? I don't have money to support going over my construction budget. That's when he first said it to me, and I was like, holy shit, I love that. Because it's so true and it's so easy. Fear is literally something that is so orchestrated in our head, and 9 out of 10 times never comes to fruition in the real world. But the great thing is everybody's fearful. So if you can learn ways to tweak the amount that you let it actually impact you and the choices that you make, you will have a leg up on so many people. Because I think we're fear oriented. We naturally, as humans, back to my whole caveman thing, I guess that's the video today. Naturally, as humans, we're programmed to be fearful. We always would assess situations before this current life that we live of, is this a predator or a prey? Is this plant poisonous or not? We had to constantly be on. And so fear is a natural thing and directed us to evolve into becoming one of the only species that has survived as long as we have. But that doesn't mean that it's actually true. And nowadays, it's not true. Most of the things that you've been scared of, just ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen? Are you going to die? If you're going to die, think twice about it. If you're not, fuck it. If you're not, okay. Like, give it a try. I think we're just all so fearful, and he'll always say that, and he'll attribute being fearful and pushing through it as a factor to why he was able to get to where he did. And I can also tell that for this person, it carries on all beyond business. Anything. People don't go places nowadays because they're scared of something. People won't go to a concert because they saw a concert halfway across the country get bombed, and now they won't go with their family to Zach Bryan. If you continue to live your life in fear, should you even call it a life? Because you're just being sheltered and you're sheltering yourself. And so I think if you can break the habit, it's not like you can really only make business decisions being not fearful. You have to change the course of your life to do it that way. Fear, false expectations appearing as reality. Check it. 9th lesson from a millionaire. Everyone has the same amount of luck. And that's not to say that everyone has the same circumstances, because luck and circumstances are very different. Luck is purely random. That is literally the definition of luck. It's random good or bad things happening to you. Circumstances is what you're born into. With luck, if someone in their life truly has good luck throughout most of the way or bad luck throughout the way, they're like a statistic anomaly. Like, they're the exception. Everyone has the same amount of good and bad luck. And when preparation meets luck, that's when execution can happen. Not only this individual, but a lot of the wealthy people that I'm around, they say the word luck in the humble way. Like, I was lucky to receive this. Why did you do so well when the market was so bad? Well, I had luck in the shares that I bought. And I think there's truth to all of it. But where I would draw the line is the people that use luck as a crutch or an excuse. And I think that's what this specific individual is like trying to instill, is you can't blame anything on good or bad luck because you make your own luck. Yes, weird things happen, random things happen, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough to create your life or the path that your life is going down. That at the end of the day is going to be on the person. And that's the message that he's trying to get across. It is kind of interesting. The wealthiest people seem to be the luckiest, and the poorest seem to be the unluckiest, or the happiest people seem to be the luckiest, and vice versa. But they're manifesting and creating their own luck by the situations they're consistently putting themselves in. To me, it's like a very much a snowball effect rather than the craziness of like, oh, I won the lottery, I'm set for life now. No, more times luck is looking like people do things that are good for them, and then the compound effect follows. Okay, number 10. He never explained it like this way and called it this specific of a lesson. This is a lesson I derived from knowing his story and how he grew his portfolio to what he did. Delayed gratification. Most of you guys probably have an understanding of what that means now. It's talked about a lot nowadays. Delayed gratification is the long game, counterintuitive to what you want, because it's always the path of more resistance or the thing that you really don't want to do in that moment that reaps the delayed gratification. Easiest way you can think about it is food. It's so easy to come home from work or whatever and just start snacking on like gross food. I'm talking like Doritos, Goldfish, snacking. That's instant gratification because you're hungry. It's bad food, but it tastes really, really good. And it satisfies a craving like that. But then how do you feel an hour later? You feel gross. Now you don't even want dinner. Now if you eat dinner, you kind of feel bad about the food that you ate. And it's a cycle. And then the food is also literally basically attacking the insides of your body. Delayed gratification is understanding and having the discipline to have the apple or the banana after work and having it compound for you down the line and over time. In real estate, for him, this was buying assets that weren't like the quick, sexy flip, got you all this cash. Buying an asset that was gonna appreciate over the long term and then grow stronger and stronger in his net operating income and his cash flow that he'd be getting from that building. And he understood that. Having the discipline to look at deals and saying, no, I'm not going for that one. That one would look great on paper in my portfolio, but is it actually manageable, feasible, and is it something that makes sense for me right now? All of these things, and really delayed gratification is very closely relative to discipline, further the success down the line. But you just have to have that patience to get there. I'm still working on that. So many times I'll come home and I just want to like decompress, and I'll sit on my phone and then an hour goes by. That is such instant gratification, because then I'm like, well, shit, where's my night? You know, I don't have all that time in the world. I don't want to waste it on my phone scrolling about things and people that I'll never see again. But I've done it day in and day out. Why? Because it's instant, turns my brain off, makes me feel better. But if I'm choosing the harder path of delayed gratification and doing things after work that actually help me, I know it's going to reap me benefits in the long run. I think that, again, our society is set up very combative to this exact idea. I think everything's very instant. I mean, on this literal video, I could probably have DoorDash to my door by the end of it and be eating, rather than doing the things that are still so insanely easy of driving in your car, driving to your local place, getting food, coming back. And it's those things that have wired us to become accustomed to like that softer life. And something that he's taught me is delay your gratification, because the harder times create the greater successes. But you have to put yourself in the harder times in a life where you can choose the easier one every time. Those are 10 lessons. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm having fun with this, and I've appreciated the support and comments and all on my last 2 videos. I've done 3 now. First was negotiation tactics, second was my flip story, and third are lessons from a millionaire. All same category, but a little bit different. So I'm curious what you're liking. I'm curious what you want to see/hear. Thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully some of these lessons stuck with you. I know for me, whenever I get an array of lessons or quotes or things, like certain ones really jump out to me. So if not all of them did, totally fine. But hopefully you'll remember some of them from it and use it, write it down, put it on your car, put it on your mirror. That's what I do, and use it in your daily life. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.